Hello everyone and welcome to Dendera, Temple of Hathor. We're going to take you on a 360 virtual reality tour of this amazing and probably ancient Egypt's best, most preserved temple. It is pretty much original. Very little has been done to it except for to clean it up. So let's go on this virtual reality tour. You're going to have to be looking up quite a lot because most of the amazing stuff is on the ceiling. So let's go. Okay, so where we are at the moment is in the first area they will enter into. This is probably the most famous area of the Temple of Hathor. Now, you heard me say Dendera Temple of Hathor because the complex itself is called Dendera, but this particular temple is a temple dedicated to the goddess Hathor. So when people call this building Dendera, they're wrong. This is actually a Temple of Hathor. So if you look up, you can see, I hope the light is good enough for you to see all the blue on there, which basically represents the cosmos. Honestly, if you get a chance to come here, it is well worth it. It's about an hour and a half from Luxor. And today's Friday, you can hear the prayers going off in the background there. The most amazing ceilings. If you just look up. Unlike most ancient Egyptian temples, it's made of several segments. They get smaller and smaller as you get towards the end. Remember what I've said in previous videos? They're always kind of shaped in a triangular shape, with the front being the biggest and the rear being the smallest. Some truly amazing detail on the ceiling here. I hope you can see it, and it's as clear as I can see it. This temple is quite popular amongst our conspiracy theory friends because of the stairs here. They say that they've melted and all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff. I actually had a look at them, and they're not as bad as people make them out to be in their videos. Anyway, let's continue further into the temple. So this temple is actually constructed during the Ptolemaic period. However, it does have references to earlier kings within the inscriptions, for example. And what's really interesting about this particular temple is the fact that at every single scene, there is usually inscriptions explaining what's going on in detail and the ritual being carried out. Now, this is quite unique to the Ptolemaic period, which obviously came very much at the end of ancient Egypt, or towards the end, the Greco-Roman period. And the reason they were doing this was because the priests were worried that the rituals were going to be forgotten, because they saw there was new rules, new kids in town, and they might not remember to know how to carry out certain rituals. For example, every single thing you see here is a type of ritual being carried out with all the detail of how to carry out that particular ritual, what it's for, what to offer, all this kind of stuff. Really amazing, and this is just one of many rooms. We'll now carry on further into the temple. See the floors getting higher, ceilings getting lower, as always. And then if you look to your right, you'll see some stairways, and then there's another set of stairways just here to my left as well. These again were used for different rituals during the New Year. So around this temple, there's lots of hidden rooms and crypts underneath it. And within those areas, those hidden spaces, were the statues that represented various gods. They hid them in there. And the only way I can really explain this to you is this. So now we're in actually the Holy of the Holies. This is the most sacred room within the temple. The only way I can explain this to you is every single god represented on the walls here, there will be a statue that belongs to them somewhere in the basement, in the crypts, or within a secret room. And the drawings, or the depictions on the wall, get their power from that particular statue representing them. If that makes sense. I actually managed to get a look in some of the crypts today, but I can't get back in there now because I've used up that ticket, I'm afraid. But I will be releasing some videos on it, but not in 360, because I can't get back in there now. Again, once you go out of the Holy of the Holies, you can actually go all the way around it, where you'll find some of the secret spaces, the crypts and stuff. You can go under the temple and inside the walls and all sorts of little hidden things, including, actually, one of the crypts was the very famous depiction that people call the flashlight depiction, that they say is proof the Egyptians had electricity. But obviously it isn't, because if you can read hieroglyphs, then you'll know exactly what's going on there. And it just talks about the son of the god being born, and you know, they had that aura around him, and it says it literally says it above it, what that picture is supposed to depict. So yeah, I'm just going to quickly show you these staircase. It's quite interesting. So this staircase kind of goes round in like a spiral, and the other one kind of comes straight down. But you can see here that the stairs are really worn out, and lots of people say these stairs will be melted by God knows what else. But you can just see it's just from thousands of years of people walking on them. That's it. And they've got these little windows here, so you can see. But yeah, this goes all the way up to the roof. You can actually go up onto the roof of the temple and get a panoramic view of all around. But really, there's nothing actually to see up there. All the interesting stuff is down here. Let's go into this room. There you go. It's quite nice because some of the art still has the colour in it, you can see. It's well worth having a guide with you at this temple, because there's a lot going on here, like a lot. And otherwise it just becomes a whole bunch of pictures and you won't really understand why and what is happening. If you go into one of the rooms within the temple, you'll find this little chapel as well. This is the thing with this temple, it's full of little rooms everywhere. Literally you have to kind of go around looking for them. So it's a nice kind of exploration. What's really cool here, if you look at the ceiling, it's not very visible, but you can see the god Nut, which is the woman with her arms. You see where I'm pointing here, and her whole body is the sky coming around. And if you look there, it's giving birth to the sun. The sun goes into her mouth, which is the sun setting, and then is reborn in the morning again. We're now on the outside of the temple, which was where the commoners could go. And it's quite interesting outside here, because there are plenty and plenty of depictions showing all sorts of stuff. You can see here the gods giving life to the pharaoh. This wall here obviously is pure propaganda, because this is where the public would be. So it has to show all the gods approving of the king, the pharaoh, and him giving them offerings and them giving him power. Actually, see, if you look at the top here, you see these lions sticking out. They're sitting like on these little kind of pedestal things. The way the temple was designed, if you go up on the roof, you'll see these holes in the wall. So whenever it rained, all the water will pour out of these from where the lions are, which is actually really cool. And then you have the lake there, which is obviously empty. And then all this wall here you can see in the distance, this big wall. This is part of it is the original mud brick wall. And you'll always notice that it's wavy. So the bricks aren't straight like how we build today. They're like in these kind of waves. And it's to represent the big flood, which is part of the creation of the world myth. We're now at the back of the temple. And if you wonder what that is in the background, again, like I said earlier in the video, it's the Friday prayers going on, and they're doing the speech. So, at the back of the temple, you'll see here this big image that's kind of been carved out the wall, which was the goddess Hathor with her ears sticking out, and this is where the common people would come to say their prayers. And apparently the face was covered in gold. And I've actually just behind that, there is a secret room which I've actually been in earlier, and that's where the statue was kept, which gave the image the power. So remember, the images are always powered by a statue somewhere within the temple. They're just a representation of that statue. But all the rituals, everything that happens to the statue, because like I said, think of it as a battery almost. Alright guys, and this is the final side of the outside of the temple. Again, same as the other side, lots of propaganda on the walls. Pharaoh's great, gods love the pharaoh, blah 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 blah, the usual stuff. Right, because it's boiling, my camera keeps switching off, so I hope you've enjoyed this quick tour of the Temple of Hathor in Dendera. Highly recommend you come here guys if you're ever in Luxor. It's like an hour away north of Luxor. Unlike Aswan and the cruises, they all go south. So remember this place, it is amazing, and I hope you enjoyed the tour guys.